Hello everyone, good afternoon. We are the nine group. We want to talk to you about community structure, community structure pattern and determinants of community structure. Before of all, let me introduce our team. I'm Alfira Tunasiha with the last student number 176.
My name is Neka Hawas Nariswari with the student number 173.
My name is Bagus Farhan Hakiki with last student number 174.
Okay, the first one is community structure pattern. A central theme of community ecology has been a central theme of community ecology has been identification of patterns in community structure across environmental gradients in space and time. The diversity of community types at landscape and regional scales, or biodiversity, has been a largely neglected aspect of biodiversity, but is important to the maintenance of regional species pools and metapopulation dynamics for many species. In addition, the mosaic of community types on a landscape might confer conditional stability to the broader ecosystem. In terms of relatively consistent proportion of community types over space and time, identification of patterns in community organization has become increasingly introduction of exotic insects to combat noxious pests or with or other insect requires attention to the ability of the biocontrol agents to establish itself within the community and to its potential effect on non-target components of the community. Efforts to conserve or restore threatened species require consideration and maintenance of the underlying community organization, as this determines resource availability and patterns of competition, predation, or mutualism. There are three patterns of community structure. The first one is global pattern, second is biome patterns, and third, landscape patterns. Global patterns. Communities can be distinguished on a taxonomic basis at global scale because of the distinct phylogenetic origin of faunas among biogeographic realms. Similar community types on different continents often are dominated by unrelated species with similar attributes, term ecological equivalence, often resulting from convergence of phenotypic attributes that are favored by similar environmental conditions. Consequently, grassland communities on every continent show similar food web structure and functional group organization, reflecting similar environmental condition regardless of taxonomic representation. For example, migratory antelope and zebra grass in Africa, bison and pronghorn in North America, and pompadour and guanaco in South America. A number of studies have indicated global patterns in community structure related to latitudinal gradients in temperature and moisture and to the ecological history of adaptive radiation of particular taxa.
Latitudinal gradients in temperature and precipitation. Latitudinal gradient in temperature and precipitation establish a global template of habitat suitability (biomass). Equatorial areas, characterized by high sun, angle, and generally high precipitation, provide favorable conditions of light, temperature, and moisture, although seasonal pattern of precipitation in some tropical areas create profile of adverse conditions for many organisms. The strongly seasonal climate of temperate zones requires specific adaptation for survival during unfavorable cold periods. There be limiting species diversity. The harsh condition of temperate, desert, and high latitude zones generally restrict the number of species that can be support or that can adapt to this condition. Next. Why are there more species in the tropic? Several hypotheses try to explain this specialization and host diversity. In the first, tropical caterpillar, Lepidoptera, may be more specialized in the eight specific plants, which increase diversity. And second, but some studies say specialization is similar in both tropical and temperate area. And that however, tropical forests have more plant species, which may lead to more insect species. Plant-insect relationship. Studies show that the number of insect species is closely linked to plant diversity. So more plants, more insect, especially in the tropics.
Okay, the next is latitudinal gradients in specific richness. First one is Metabolic Theory of Ecology, according by Allen et al. 2002 and Brown et al. 2004. Explain that species diversity based on relationship between temperature, body size, and metabolic rate. One climate with more energy support more especially small and organism. And second one is testing the theory according Algar et al. 2007 and Hawkins et al. 2007. Test the prediction that species richness or in increase linearly with temperature. So taxa test, trees, beetles, butterfly, amphibians, reptiles that relationship was curvilinear, not linear. Energy alone doesn't fully explain the gradient of latitudinal. So the truth is role of evolutionary time. According Wins et al. 2006, tree frog diversity is linked to time since colonization, not latitude. So tropical species had more time for specification than temperate ones, suggests that longer evolutionary time in tropics may explain higher species richness. And the last one is geographic asymmetry. According from Dunn et al. 2009, studied and diversity between northern and southern hemispheres found asymmetry indicating that regional historical factors also shape species regional patterns. Next. Okay, the next is biome and landscape patterns. Patterns in species richness, food web structure, and functional organization have been observed among biomes and across landscape. To some extent, patterns may reflect variation in occurrence or dominance of certain taxa in different biomes. Regional species pool may obscure effect of local habitat condition on species richness, especially in temperate ecosystem, but few ecologists have addressed the extent to which the regional species pool may influence local species richness.
Okay, the next is general functional group. General functional groups are common to all terrestrial and aquatic biomes. For example, grazing herbivores, depending on the amount of auto, mitochondrial primary production in the stream. Predators, parasites, and detritivores, while other functional groups depend on the specific resource available. For example, sapsuckers require vascular plants and wood birds require woody resources. The proportion of fauna representing different functional groups varies among biomes. Low-level streams have detrital-based resources, and their communities are dominated by detritivores and associated predators, and parasites. Other communities represent varying proportion of autotrophic functional group. Example is chemoautotrophs, ruderal, competitive, and stress-tolerant vascular versus non-vascular plants, and heterotrophic functional groups like herbivores, predators, and detrivores. Species variation in functional groups across biomes. Even though the functional groups are the same, the species that fill those roles differ across biomes. For example, the insectivorous functional group consists mainly of moths, beetles, and tree cricket in broadleaf forests, moths and sawflies in coniferous forests, grasshopper in grasslands and shrublands, and mayflies and flies in aquatic communities. The predatory functional group in terrestrial arthropod communities is dominated by arachnids, beetles, flies, and wasps, while in aquatic arthropod communities, this functional group is dominated by dragonflies, true bugs, and beetles.
Okay, the next is determination of community structure. A number of factors affect community structure, that is, the composition, relative abundance, population size, and distribution of species. Factors associated with habitat area, habitat or research condition, and species interaction generally have the greatest influence on community structure. The first, habitat area and complexity, second, habitat stability, third, habitat condition, and the last, species interaction. Habitat area and complexity, the relationship between number of species and sampling effort in time or space has been widely recognized and support. The increase in number of species with increased number of sample reflect the greater representation of the community. Similarly, a large habitat area will sample a large proportion of a regional special species pool. Somerville et al. 2002 found that large species has more butterfly species because habitat generalists tend to colonize all pet size, whereas habitat specialists avoid the same patch in favor of large pets. Increased habitat area also tends to represent increasing heterogeneity of habitat condition, providing an increased number of needs. Large bodies of water have a diversity of aquatic insects, Paradise 2004, and developing the theory of islands biography, Macher and Wilson 1167 emphasized the relationship between species recognized as an islands area at A, expressed as formulation S equal CAZ. C depends on the taxon on geographic region. Z equal parameter that varies little among taxa or geographic regions, generally falling in the rank 0.20 until 0.35.
Okay, guys, the next habitat area has continued to be viewed as primary factor affecting species richness and other aspect of community structure, likely producing apparent gradients in species richness with latitude and host residence time, as discussed earlier. However, habitat area also is a surrogate for habitat heterogeneity. Larger islands are more likely than smaller islands to represent a wider range in elevation, soil type aspects, disturbance histories, etc. Similarly, larger continental area are more likely than smaller area to represent a diversity of habitat conditions because relativity distinct component communities develop on particular research such as plant or microbial species. Species richness increase exponentially as representation of habitat and resource diversity increase. Furthermore, habitat heterogeneity provide for refugees from competition and our predation that is a local patch of competition or predator free space. Also, this effect depends on patch scale relative to the foraging scale of predators. The architectural complexity of individual plants or vegetation cover also can affect the diversity of associated fauna. For example, according Peterman et al. 2015 reports that the appearance of dragonfly larvae in bromelia tanks of sufficient size to support these predators altered the dativore-based community relative to smaller predator and free tanks. And the next is habitat stability. Habitat stability determines the lack of time available for community development. There is a first stage in community development. First one is non-interactive stage, interactive stage, associative stage, and evolutionary stage. Community development in frequently is disturbed habitat cannot progress by an earlier stage where more stable habitat permit advanced community development and increase species richness. However, the most stable habitat also allow the most adapted species to prompt research from other species, leading to a decline in species richness through competitive exclusion. This trend has led to a development of the intermediate disturbance hypothesis, which predict the species richness peaks at intermediate level of disturbance. That is according Cornell, Sousa, and Rich.
Okay, next, habitat or resource condition. Habitat condition establish the template that determines the ability of particular species to survive and persist. Physical condition include temperature, weather availability, chemistry, etc. According to S. Miller et al., in 2007 reported that withdrawal of water from streams for irrigation purpose altered habitat condition for aquatic invertebrate communities. And there is the response of oribated, open bars, and mesostigmatic set bars mites and columbola to soil disturbance treatment. Changes in water depth, flow rate, and wetted habitat were proportional to the amount of water removed, whereas changes in conductivity and temperature were observed only when water removal exceeded 85% of ambient levels. Water removal 90%, more than 90%, and temperature above 30 Celsius resulted in a shift in community structure from dominance by quilter gather and filter Meroptera, Plecoptera, and Trichoptera to dominance by scraping elmite beetles, predators, and non-insect taxa. Similarly, according to Stubbington et al., found the lowest species richness in stream drying during drought, but also reported that water exchange between the hypoporic zone and groundwater influenced the abundance and behavior of benthic invertebrates. While and Wallace documented change in stream invertebrate taxonomic composition resulting from conversion of adjacent deciduous forest to pine forest with accompanying change in the quality of litter inputs to the stream community. As discussed earlier, the availability of particular resource determines the presence of associate species. If a limiting resource or host becomes more abundant, then associate species also become more abundant until some other factor or as become limiting. For example, Seaman and Cole reported that experimental fertilization of grassland plots increased outdoor species richness and abundance. Doi revealed studies of spatial patterns in alloctonous and autochthonous aquatic resources and concluded that connectivity of food webs based on these different resources along the stream continuum is critical to the sustainability of top predators that require a diversity of prey.
Okay, the next is species interaction. Who survive and why? Think of nature like a group project who works with who really matters. Some species are like leaders that keep everything balanced. Others bring hidden skill that unexpectedly help them survive. Insect and predator, if even thin on ones, can change the whole outcome. Survival depends on relationship. Some species cannot survive without their host, predator, or partner. Mutualist. Pre-adaptation and exaptation. Species may already have traits that help them survive in new place, even if those traits evolve for different reasons. Keystone species, ecosystem game changers. Some species have a huge impact on the whole community, even if they are not the most common. Example, top predator can stop dominant species from taking over, which help maintain diversity. Insect help maintain diversity. Some herbivore insect reduce dominant plants, giving space for less common plant to grow. Okay, next. Nature is all connected. Change in one part can ripple though there is. If you remove one piece like a predator or insect, it can affect plants, animal, and other ecosystem. Land and water ecosystem talk to each other more than we realize. When a larval dragonflies in ponds with fish, there were more small larvae, but fewer medium and large larvae. Fish eat the bigger larvae but not small ones. Adult dragonflies. Because fish reduce large larvae, fewer adult dragonflies were seen near ponds with fish. Less larvae surviving means fewer adults emerge. Pollinator visit. With fewer dragonflies, there were more visits by pollinator like flies, butterflies, and bees to nearby plants. Fewer dragonflies mean less predation on pollinators.
Okay, guys, the next we get the conclusion of our presentation. A community is all the species living and interacting in a certain area. Scientists study communities by looking at how many species are present, how balanced their numbers are, and how they interact through food webs and their roles, such as pollinators or decomposer. The structure of community depends on habitat size, resource availability, and environmental stability. Interaction like competition, predation, and mutualism shape how species survive and affect each other. Some species, called keystone species, can have a big impact on a whole community even if they are not many in number. This interaction can cause trophic cascades, where change at one level affect many other species. By understanding community structure and species interaction, we can better understand how ecosystem work and how they respond to change. Thank you. Thank you.